In this video, we are recapping the incredible windstorm from last week. After that, more severe weather is on the way as the Storm Prediction Center has put out a slight risk for tomorrow. Also, the heat is on as we track record temperatures across the U.S. and a developing drought. But even with all of this, it just feels too quiet out there. The overall pattern is calm for now, but we're going to be looking well into the future at what could be our next big storm. Welcome back, y'all. Ryan Hall here with the weather forecast. On Friday, June 17th, a prolific windbag swept across a dozen states from the Midwest all the way down into the Southeast, leaving behind tree damage and widespread power outages in its wake. Over 800 reports came into the Storm Prediction Center over the duration of the event. Now, that's a ton of reports. And of course, as the system moved through my neck of the woods, I headed out to the top of a mountain to get a good look at those cool clouds. I even spotted some of these crazy-looking convective ghosts, or scud, rising up off the mountains as the storm was coming over. These things were so close to me that I could actually touch them at one point. Now, as cool as the clouds were, and it definitely was pretty windy out there, we can't talk about it all day. We got to look into the future because that's where the weather's going, okay? So let's get right into the forecast. All right, let's start off talking about tomorrow because we do have a chance of severe weather out there on the East Coast. Check it out. Latest SPC outlook does have that slight risk that includes Washington, D.C., Baltimore, all the way over to close to Pittsburgh. It does include Harrisburg, Scranton, and then all the way up into Ithaca, New York. This is a slight risk of severe weather, mostly driven by damaging wind, okay? So the tornado threat is pretty low with this, but still something you need to watch out for and be weather aware for over here tomorrow. And that marginal risk goes all the way back into the Ohio River Valley, where we can expect some bigger thunder boomers to pop up tomorrow. So nothing crazy here, but certainly a little bit of activity. Let's take a look at the simulated radar from the high resolution rapid refresh model, where the time and date in Eastern's always going to be above my head. Starting off at around 2 p.m. today, you can see there's not a lot going on anywhere really. We've got some heavier rain over here in the northeast and some scattered thunderstorms up here in Manitoba, moving into Ontario, but really nothing to write home about. Let's push this forward a little bit. You can see that there's a very obvious boundary over here. Some of that warm, moist air is going to push up against that and cause some scattered thunderstorms this evening from Oklahoma and New Mexico all the way up into possibly Wisconsin there. As you can see, a couple little storms popping up here and there. These will have the ability to drop some gusty winds and maybe some hail, but the severe weather threat overall is pretty low with those. We're going to skip all the way into tomorrow. You can see everything dies out overnight tonight, but around 4 p.m. tomorrow, you can see we got some storms popping up along the Ohio River, up into places around Pittsburgh and into New York, of course, where that slight risk of severe weather is. Watch out for that heavy rain and some claps of thunder in Ottawa and Montreal and Toronto as well. But watch, everything really blows up pretty quick here between 6 and 7 p.m., where we might see a line of storms of strong winds and lightning and thunder move across the northeastern Appalachian area here. Nothing crazy. Once again, these are going to be some strong storms. Maybe some areas will see some flash flooding, some hail, some winds. We're really not looking for anything like incredibly prolific here. Just be weather aware and make sure that you have a weather radio or something like that to always get those weather warnings, because you never know, Don't be scared, be prepared. It's going to be all right. You've seen storms like this before. I think that the main threat's going to be that really heavy rain, lightning, thunder, and then maybe some wind, okay? Everything really dies out as it heads towards the coast and just becomes a big wind and rain bag. By the time we get into 2 a.m., nothing to worry about here. It's just going to be dreary, and it's going to cool us off quite a bit. I wish it was going to cool us off a little bit more, because up next, we're talking about that dangerous heat. All right, moving right along here. Here's the risk of hazardous temperatures through July 4th. You can see that we've got that excessive heat all the way up to a moderate risk there in southeastern Texas, and then a slight risk expands all the way through the deep south there. Combine that with the seasonal drought outlook. We continue to have a drought in the western U.S., okay? Everybody in the brown, a drought is going to persist. But look, a developing drought is taking place from eastern Texas through Louisiana up through the Mississippi and Ohio River valleys into Illinois and Iowa. So this is a new drought here, and this could form over the next several days once again. And look at the GFS precipitation anomalies here. I've pulled this all the way out for the next 16 days. And what this model shows us is, compared to normal, how much rain are we going to receive over the next 2 weeks or so. And you can see here that we are bone dry through a lot of this region, which is going going to aid in that developing drought. Okay, once again, from eastern Texas through Louisiana, kind of in this area right here, we are going to see or continue to see below average rainfall rates, which will lead to a technical drought. Combine that ultra dry weather with the heat, and we're talking about an even bigger problem. We're still several degrees, possibly close to 20 degrees above normal on Friday, June 24th, around 2 p.m. here through the central U.S. We're in June, guys, and it's going to be 20 degrees higher than what it's supposed to be in Texas and Oklahoma and Kansas, and it's supposed to be pretty hot. Today is officially the first day of summer. I want you guys to take this seriously. Heat stroke, dehydration, all that stuff is going to be a huge problem out here. I don't care how used to the heat you are. Dry conditions in combination with really high temperatures are going to cause big problems, not only with yourself, but also think about wildfires, okay? We don't want to do too many barbecues. We don't want to do too many fireworks. I know the 4th of July is coming up out here, but we want to try to avoid that as much as possible. And of course, eventually this is going to change and we will get some long-term relief over here in the central U.S., but for now, it's going to remain dry and hot. But even though we've got a developing drought and an overall dry pattern, that doesn't mean that we're not going to see every once in a while some isolated scattered storms, maybe even some strong storms here and there. I mean, it is the summertime. You guys know how this works. And I know a lot of you guys are going to be hoping that those storms come over you, especially if the main threat with them is going to be rain. So a good way to track those is with a really good professional radar app. So let's take a minute to thank our sponsor for today. Radar Omega, the best weather app, no cap. Radar Omega is a professional radar app that meteorologists use, storm chasers use, I use, and you can use on your phone, iOS or Android. And with a subscription, you can actually use it on your PC. It's what I use during live streams. This is the most powerful storm tracking app. Radar Omega provides you with high quality NexRad radar data to keep you alert on rapidly changing weather conditions. Not only can you look at radar, but you get your warnings, your severe weather outlooks, and also all kinds of other data through this app. My favorite thing is you can look at satellite data in 3D. And in fact, you can look at model data, radar data, and all that in 3D. And like, how cool is that? I was a big fan of them long before they sponsored me, and I just want people to have this in their toolbox because I believe it's a life-saving product. So what are you waiting for? Hit those links down in the description for iOS or Android to download Radar Omega today. You will not regret it. I can promise you that. Now, let's get back into the video. All right, despite the severe weather tomorrow and the ongoing heat and drought situation that we're dealing with, it's quiet out there. It's almost too quiet. I've been doing this for going on over a year and a half now, and always, whenever things get real quiet, I start to relax, you know? I start to chillax a little bit. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go outside. I'm gonna touch grass, and then boom, something happens, and I'm forced back here into the weather room. So I'm not saying that that's gonna happen again here, but the overall pattern is relatively quiet, and we are approaching, hurricane season. Like, we're in hurricane season now, but we're approaching the time period where we really have to start watching the Gulf. We really have to start watching the main development region, and the fact that we haven't seen anything really so far is kind of eerie. Now, I'm not trying to, say be fearful or anything like that. I'm just saying that this period of quiet weather probably isn't going to last the entire summer. But enjoy it while it does last here. We're going to see intermittent rain showers through the East Coast, some isolated severe weather stuff, nothing crazy. We are going to see some rain in the Pacific Northwest. We're going to see some systems dive down from Saskatchewan and Manitoba, bring down some cool weather and some heavy rain into the northern portion of the U.S. Those might be also accompanied by some stronger storms. But as far as big systems go, as far as big trough ejections, big tropical systems and stuff, we're not dealing with anything here. Like, this is the most quiet I've seen the weather pattern look in like 5 months probably. So once again, enjoy it while it lasts, because I do think things are going to ramp up again here in the near future. And unfortunately, I think they're going to ramp up in the tropics. I think that we really have to start looking at that. But here's a look at the next, 240 hours. You can see that the overall pattern is the moisture is coming up in like a monsoonal pattern over here. Lots of shortwave systems coming up from Canada, stealing that moisture and kind of cycling everything in this direction right here. So in the middle, that's why it's so dry. Everything's going around us. But if you're on the boundary there, over here, even up here in the Great Lakes region, even on the northeastern portion of the United States, this is going to lead to a lot of rain and a lot of unsettled weather, and maybe even some cooler weather. So that's what we've got to keep an eye on over the next little bit. But as of right now, nothing huge. If anything changes changes with that, though, of course, I will be the first one you hear that from. Make sure you follow me here on Twitter and on TikTok. I'm all over it on those platforms. Okay, real quick, let's take a look at the sea surface temperatures in the Atlantic Basin. This is the temperature anomaly. So this is showing us how far above or below average the current sea surface temperatures are. And if we skedaddle over here to the latest update from June 19th, you can see that we are pretty well above average in the Gulf here. Our stream is also above average. Everything's kind of above average except for down here into the Bay of Campeche, points south of the Caribbean here. We're a little bit below average, and a lot of the main development region is also below average. Now, what I think is going to happen is that this part of the ocean is going to continue to warm. And then, of course, as always, the main development region is also going to warm up, okay? One of the things that's kept it kind of cool so far is we've had a lot of dust come off the African continent there. I think that we're going to see this warm up, and I think we're going to see this remain warm. I don't know what's going to happen with this. Obviously, naturally, as we go later on into the warmer months, it will try to warm up a little bit, but I'm almost certain that this area is going to be much above average as we get into peak hurricane season, which tells me that we're probably going to see a couple big chuggers this hurricane season. Now, are those going to make landfall on the U.S.? Are they going to cause problems for us? I have no idea, but I would just about bet my bottom dollar that we're going to see a couple, maybe even a few major hurricanes this year develop through the main development region and then head towards the U.S. Will they fling up this way? Will they come down below the Caribbean and maybe fizzle out in the cooler waters down here if they don't warm up fast enough? I don't know. That's why you've got to subscribe. We've got to pay attention to this stuff because obviously we're going to be all over hurricanes this year. We're going to be live during all of them. And of course, we're going to do constant video updates once there's something to update you on, okay? Okay, that's it. I'm done. Hey, super huge shout out to all of our members over here. Thank you so much for being a part of the channel. Guys, make sure you follow my other channel, Ryan Hall Extra. There's a link down here. It's at the bottom of my YouTube page. You can search it, whatever you want to do. We're releasing weekly videos, recaps of previous live streams, and I think you're going to love it, okay? So Ryan Hall Extra on YouTube. We got a new video out from the Allendale, South Carolina tornado I think you're going to like, so go watch it, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye. Ooh.